Hey everybody!
Finale
Woo!
night.
We did it! Last show
Can't believe it.
finale. Woo!
I know. I can't believe it. What a season.
My dogs are even jumping for joy. They're celebrating.
They're like, "Mom, why are you so excited?"
I know, right?
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness.
So,
So what a
if
night.
if you have not watched, you need to go right now and watch the episode. It was phenomenal, start to end.
Yes.
Great.
What a fantastic opening number. I feel like we really didn't get those throughout the season, and it was fabulous. It
Well,
was glamour.
They brought Mandy back to choreograph it, and she's
Yes.
phenomenal. Like she's known for her show-stopping numbers, and I know the pros love working with her as well.
Mhm.
So it was fantastic.
It was show-stopping for sure. For sure.
Also, it's okay. There are people walking outside. They can do that. Sorry. He's gonna keep barking at the window.
I love Basso. Oh my gosh.
He's my
So much
troublemaker.
spunk in
I
a
love
little
him.
dog.
He, that's a way to put it.
All right. So, besides the opening number, anything else you want to say about our start of our show?
I don't know, like for the start, like it was just phenomenal. Just I don't know. It
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
emotional too. Like, cause
It
then like
was,
they brought everybody back. They brought all
yeah,
the
this
cast with like
episode was, yeah, this finale was, it had so many intense emotional things to it, all the different tributes to Len,
yeah,
our tribute to Cheryl,
yeah.
and really getting a chance to see all of that. I taking a quick minute there, but talking about Cheryl and Louis doing that dance from 2006. How cool was that?
I know they brought it back. She started to crying. Like she put in her blog and her podcast this week. She's like, Pasha, Louis, your job is to whip me around. I'm gonna be crying the entire time. But like it really showed off her skill strength, and it was just I think a surreal moment for her. And then like I question even too, like, did Louis come back just because he knew this? Or like I don't know, but Louis and Cheryl have seemed so close this season. Like I think it's been great for them to just that partnership to be together again, and because they've been on the show for so long and been a
Yeah.
pro from like
That's
the
a good
beginning.
thought because I kind of wondered why Louis was back as well. He
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been on in so long that I was like, I wonder where that's coming from. But you're right, it could have had something to do with that, where she was kind of like, let's give it one last shindig, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a good thought. I didn't think of that.
I don't know. It was just something I wondered.
Yeah.
And those
Uh,
I and I know the other thing too is people were expecting a number from Derek, but unfortunately Haley hurt her shoulder when they were rehearsing it. Haley was prepared to dance through the pain from what Derek and Haley said, but the show called it because of what she did and she fell right on it. And I know next step for her is getting an MRI to check it. So
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so send all of the healing vibes that everything is okay. So I know we were kind of discussing what the missing piece was, what was added in to kind of fill that. And I agree with you. I think it may have been the troop number, which was great, but it was very quick. And it might have been that they might have sprinkled in a little more time for our judges to talk and things.
I
And
think it was a
um,
combination of that. And then they also, I think they had a chance to talk to more. Like, and I know like before Shangela's freestyle, they did like a little like ad libbing there with Emma and Alfonso. And I was like, okay, this is what we call vamping, to get that time. So I think there were some just pieces where they had more conversation time as well.
definitely, which I appreciate,
Yeah.
especially when there's only four contestants left. It is kind of nice to hear a little bit more from those judges, a little bit more from them, the contestants.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. All right. So starting us off very strong. So each of the couples had to complete a dance that they had done
Redemption
throughout the
dance.
season. Yep, that they were trying to redeem themselves. So each judge gave our couples a dance to do. So we started with Shangela and Gleb. They had Bruno who
Mhm.
challenged them with a quick step. What were your thoughts on this?
I really liked it, and I think Bruno worked with Shangela on being sharp because, like, even those hand motions, I noticed I was like, okay, and their frame was so much better. I texted you on that.
In hold, oh, it was
Uh-huh.
beautiful.
So I was like, okay, like I can really see the work. I think just having an outside person helped
Mm-hmm.
Shangela just get to that next step. And I wish like we saw that so much sooner too.
Yeah, yeah.
But like it was great.
I agree. I agree. There was there was a little, misstep in the flick section
I
and,
know.
that caught just a little bit, but, it was so much better than the first time they
Mm-hmm.
did it. And that's truly what matters in those redemption dances is that you see the improvement. And yeah, the frame was out of this world different. So
Yes.
awesome job to the two of them for handling that. And I totally agree. I think Bruno gave Shangela some really great tips to work with.
The one
So
thing they never show is how the judges get assigned to the couples. I don't know if it's just random or the
yeah.
producers assign it. So that's one thing that like I've always wondered, like how did they get paired? Like
Right. Is it random or do they choose or,
right.
like, do they get any say in that? I don't know. That would be maybe a question for Derek when you see him out, and about on live tours, just to be like, you know what? Listen, I started a vlog with my
It's
friend and we were
summer. He he gave a hint. He's going on tour this summer.
It doesn't surprise me.
I'm so excited.
Doesn't surprise me
Shake.
one
I
bit.
don't know. I love Derek. Can you tell by my shirt?
No, not at all. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, very cool. All right. Moving on here. Like I said, just something to ask. So next we had Wayne and Whitney, who were challenged to a quick step by Len.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on this?
I liked it. I know the judges weren't like it's not the best, but like I also think Wayne has like the perfect like out like view for the show too. Cause like then he was
Mhm.
like, yeah, I agree, it wasn't perfect, but you're coming on the show to be judged. So I thought I was like, okay. But I still like to me it was a lot better than what it was before.
Right, right. And I think the judges made that very apparent that that is the point.
Well,
But
and
I could see where they're coming from. I feel like there were so many passes, there were so many like in hold moments that I just wanted to see a little bit more.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe that was done so that they could really focus on the freestyle. I
I
know
think the
Wayne had a
focus is
crazy he had
for
a
all of
crazy
them,
busy
I think
week.
went to the freestyle.
I agree, but at the same time, like Wayne, I know had a crazy busy week. He was the host of the AMAs this week. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that took up so much extra time. So on top of having to learn two dances, on top of everything else going on in his life.
Well, he learned another dance because for the AMAs, he did a whole opening like song and a
I know.
dance, and Whitney danced with him, and it was funny because that opening number, he was like, "Hope for us."
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, there's three dances in a week if you think about it, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah. So anyway, I would have liked a little more, but that's okay. Okay, moving on to Charlie and Mark, who were challenged by
Perfection.
Carrie Ann with a jive.
Perfection. Like, first of all, that costume, the pink and black, it was phenomenal. But
Yes.
when she danced, she looked like a pro. She held
Oh,
her like a
100%.
pro. That core was like a pro. I texted you and I was like, she looks like Haley
Yeah.
dancing. Haley Erbert, Derek's fiance. Um, and if any of you saw the tour, you saw, or well, it wasn't actually tour. It was his Vegas show. Haley came out in this fringe pink outfit that pretty much is the same costume that Haley wore, just all pink.
Hmm.
If you saw it on tour, it was Daniela who did it. Um, and literally, even some of the same movements and that leg extension with the
Hmm.
split,
It was beautiful.
incredible. That tilt, So
And I know that we were talking about this because you were telling me, which I've never obviously worked with jive pants of that sort, but I know you were telling me that they're really heavy.
well,
And so that's a whole load of
like
different.
it's all because the fringe, it doesn't look like you just see it like, oh, it's fun. But because the fringe, it's so much fabric upon the legs, each like row, those
Mhm.
pants alone are like 10 pounds.
I believe it.
So, like, also when you're doing the jive, and it is a little
Oh,
bit
it's
more
so
of a
fast.
bouncy and
Yep.
it's fast and you're moving, to add another 10 pounds onto your body, like, that's a lot. So,
Hmm.
that usually only pros wear those type of outfits because it is so much to handle.
Hmm.
So, the fact that she had those on and still had the most beautiful technique, it was perfect. It was the core, the strength, and the bounce and the swivels, like fantastic.
I totally agree. I don't have anything else to say. It was better than the first time, and man, was it better.
Yes.
Okay, so then we ended our first round with Gabby and Val, who were challenged by Derek to a cha-cha. What were
Yep.
your thoughts on this?
I thought it was really good. Now, I have to say, compared to the other judges, the one thing I really like about Derek is Derek will get right in and like fully teach. But he's also younger and he
Yeah.
is more, and he came from the pro, so he knows what the pro is doing versus the other
Definitely.
three. So, and he's just an amazing teacher too. So like he was really able to show Gabby, okay, how do I want you to move? Where do I need these hips? You know what I mean? Where do I need
Mm-hmm.
that attack too? Because I think for her, that's more her struggle is the attack
Mm-hmm.
and that crispness, um, which she had for the number, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
And she really, I felt more of a connection with Vale in this
Mm-hmm.
number than I have for most of her dances.
Yeah, yeah. I think this week was definitely a good change for their connection as well.
Mm,
I think I would have liked maybe a little bit more of the up and down kind of heights. I thought like a little bit, not a whole lot. But you know what I think really doesn't help with the cha-cha with Gabby is she has just these beautiful, long, gorgeous legs that it's like it makes her look so tall when she's in those short little outfits. So I just don't think that really helped with her feeling like she was getting really low because she just has these long legs.
yeah,
So especially when Derek's like, I want to see
grounded.
that those changes in those legs, and it just feels so weird because she's just a little but in a good way. It's not
Right.
it wasn't it was great. It really was.
I think she's also just more used, especially cheerleading, like you're held up higher
Yes.
to, and like more of that ballet technique versus, the Latin where you're more down into the ground.
Yes,
So I
yes.
think that's probably a little bit more of a challenge in that
Good
sense.
point. Great point. So, all right. I don't have too many notes going into the freestyle here because freestyle is freestyle. But I can say these were four very different, very fantastic freestyles. I'm not quite sure we've ever seen this difference between the way that they handled their freestyles. All four of them handled it so differently.
I would agree with that. Um,
And I loved it.
Same. Every single one was like a showstopper in itself.
Uh-huh.
And now it's interesting though, because like I felt like for two of them, I've seen similar freestyles.
Mm-hmm.
Like from past seasons. Not bad, but they were still fantastic. But like I will say, Wayne went first.
Yes, which
It
was so
which
weird, but
which was weird because they switched the order, but I know why. After I
okay.
saw who went last, and we could
Yep.
talk, it's because of
We'll
the
talk
way
about
I
yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Um, but so Wayne went first, which threw us because we're like, oh, wait a second. Now there's a shift in how the order is going because they usually keep the same order.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and he did like a um, Bruno Mars feel, I felt like at the beginning.
Gave me like Michael Jackson vibes
Yes.
throughout the whole thing.
So he did like 24 karat gold. And then when Whitney walked in, I was like, oh, Britney Spears outfit, like that red.
Yeah.
Like all I could see was
Not the same thing. The toxic outfit.
yes, like I was like, okay.
Oh my
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just me that saw that. So,
I saw it too. I was like, oh, they're gonna do toxic. Oh, just kidding. No, they're not.
well, like the red thing made me think of what is it? The the one on Mars. What is it? And I'm blanking on her song.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking. You're right. Oops, I did it again.
Say it again. Thank you.
That's it. Not toxic. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was toxic. Yeah. Okay.
Um. So it the dance was phenomenal. They had backup dancers. It, like Wayne said, it was like a halftime show. And I felt like we were at a halftime show. I was
Yeah.
entertained from start to finish. They had different levels, which was really cool. I also saw that they had multiple different styles within there. So that was nice. But they had some just fun show stopping. I felt it was very musical theater without it being a musical theater number.
Yes. Yes.
So, but his dance reminded me a lot of Rashad's, which
Oh,
Rashad won with
yeah.
Emma.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So that, and when I looked at it, I was like, okay, to me, it wasn't something completely new that we haven't seen before. Um, so
But it was very Wayne.
it was very Wayne, very Wayne,
Where he
but like,
wanted, you could tell he wanted to show his strengths. He wanted to show how much he grew through the season. He wanted to show that he had all these various dance styles now kind of under his belt. And, also wanted to be slightly performance and Broadway based. And you could
mm-hmm.
just tell he really stuck to his roots. I think the 80s kind of Michael Jackson vibe, I think was kind of maybe another like lifelong dream kind of thing that
Mm-hmm.
maybe he never got a chance to really live. And it was fun. It was very Wayne.
Yes, I agree. But I also think though, because if you don't see something new, people are like, oh, I've seen it before.
Mhm.
So I do think that was one little downfall. Um, but that's so minor. But like I'm just right now I'm looking at okay, what could have affected the outcome. You know what I mean?
Right, yes. Okay, so moving on to next, we had Charlie and Mark, who
I was really surprised they went second. Like,
also had this really weird different vibe than what I was expecting out of them.
well, so when Mark in the package said we're going simple, I was like, oh, it's going to be a slow song. Because usually when you get a simple song, like I think immediately of like, and it was funny because they talked about the freestyles. And we were texting and we are like, oh, we're seeing all of Derek's dances.
Yes,
So,
yes. Yeah, they did like a little package before of freestyle dances and the number. And I mean, that's just because Derek has a track record of having some of the greatest freestyles of all time. And it was so funny how many of them were
we're all
Derek. So I was
Derek.
like, oh.
Yep. But like when you think of going simple, like there's like three that I just off the bat like think of, which Kelly Pickler,
Hmm.
Indy, and Amy Purdy. He went simple with their freestyles across the board. And they were always a slower song. It
Hmm.
wasn't fast paced. So then when the music started for Charlie, I was completely thrown off because it was a
Yeah,
faster song. It didn't have any lyrics. And then like but the music changed. So it was
throughout.
fast, it was slow, it was like different things. So the styles changed throughout the entire number, and it just showed off Charlie's technique,
Yeah,
her
definitely.
strength, and her fluidity and her expression through dance. And it was phenomenal.
It was really good. Now, for anybody that catches it online that maybe doesn't catch the package before it, just in case, just to give you a background story of it. So both Mark and Charlie expressed to each other this week that Charlie fell out of love with dance right before coming on the show and had expressed that she was welcomed onto the show and she really kind of sat there and was like, I don't like dancing anymore. I don't want to do this because of a lot going on in her life with social media and people being really nasty to her. So she really wasn't sure whether she was going to do the show. Now we also know Mark has not been on the show in a very long time. And so he also expressed kind of the same feeling
Well, and I'll be
to
honest,
Charlie.
I was really surprised that Mark came back
You said
because
that
I don't
in the
know if
beginning.
any of you watched the when they did the, what was it? They did like a rock and roll sing along
Mhm.
On Disney or on ABC, and they BC Jean and Mark performed with Derek's crew, and like I remember Mark even's like, I don't dance anymore, I'm not dancing. And Derek's like, no, I know, I get that. And so like that threw me off. I was like, oh, he's really like, dance is done. It's not his thing. So when they announced that Mark was coming back, I was like, oh,
Yeah, I feel like
I
it
didn't
had to
see
be the
that
right
passion
person.
for dance again. So like just that package, I was like, okay, that made a lot
Yeah.
more sense.
Definitely. So yeah, so if anybody, if you catch this online later, and you don't watch the pre-package, it just gives you a little bit of something to think about, is that the storyline was really about them kind of falling in back into love with dance. So
It
it was
had
cool.
the dance to me felt very La La Land,
Yes.
like just that style and the slow and
Yeah, you said La La Land. I said very like Gene Kelly vibes.
yeah, but
like
like
those like
it was
those
more the
movies.
technique wise
Yeah.
of Gene Kelly, but
Right.
I felt like the feel like that
This whole
song,
style.
you know what I mean? Like that you
Definitely.
see in that, like the classic, that they did.
Yeah. It was definitely fun. Okay, so I want to make sure we have plenty of time. So let's get to the next number, which was Gabby and Val. I will honestly say I never thought I would see this song ever on Dancing with the Stars. And so Val revealed that Jenna, his wife, choreographed this
Choreographed
number
it.
for Gabby, and holy fun.
So they did Cell Block Tango from Chicago,
Yes.
which was phenomenal. And that threw me off because I was like, where did that come from for the
Okay, but think
freestyle?
about what has made her big, right? Was being on The
Bachelor.
Bachelorette. So how hilarious was this to watch her with all of these men dancing around her and like it's just pure
It was
hilarious.
perfect for it,
It
but like
was so perfect.
I just didn't see that one coming.
I didn't either.
And so it was this huge musical number. She did have like one little trip or a
It
wardrobe
was a wardrobe malfunction.
function.
Her
I
foot
was
went to
so
go
worried.
flick up and caught her skirt.
I thought she got injured because she
I know I
hopped
did.
there at
Yeah,
the
you
very
did.
end. So I was very nervous, but I was glad that they didn't take points off for that for the judging. But like other than that, it was perfection. It was fantastic.
It's just fantastic. I have to like go back and watch it again. Like I think as soon as we're done talking, I'm gonna go
I know.
back and watch it because like I need to like soak it all in again because it was just like I can't believe this is on here and this is so
Absolutely.
good.
Um, yeah. But then
Yeah.
we get to our final one.
And
It was
so
my
we found
favorite of the
out,
night. I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie.
shocking. In so many ways. So we got to meet a new person. Do you want to tell us about the
So
new
so
you want to tell us
first
a little,
off,
yeah, give us a backstory here. What happened with Shangela and Gleb for our final dance
so
of the night?
the reason why they ended up going last is Shangela starts off on this like huge platform, if you haven't seen it, and she's hooked up to a wire. So, and like has this huge like silver cape drape thing on her, and she flew like off of it and was fully harnessed. And then this like thing,
And then of course they couldn't get the harness off, so that
and can I just say, Shangela was a full pro
pro
with
pro
the harness
handling
because
that.
she could have gone down and tripped, and it could have stopped the entire performance.
Yep.
I think the harness was supposed to come off before the silver thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So,
Long before it,
because they
because you
were
could tell
trying
the
to get
guy
her
was
out of the
struggling.
wires and changed out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the silver thing went off and they revealed her costume. and the harness was still on, and they quickly got it off, but it was still around her legs. So like literally she was like walking with a kick, and like she did like 2 kicks, got that thing off, and just kept going. It never stopped her one beat.
No, yeah, she definitely didn't lose it. But
so
okay, so she brought drag,
right? She did like this
to the room,
major hallelujah. So she gets in, she's doing the dance, she has like this major solo. We don't see Gleb anywhere, and then all of a sudden, like the way the room is set up is there is another like little stage almost
under the skybox, right?
Yeah, on the side, yeah. And it looks like a like hair salon almost, kind of. And there are 2 drag dancers there as well. And then they turn around, my jaw dropped. Totally dropped. Like, didn't even like recognize Gleb at first. So just what Alicia was saying is where we met a new dancer. We met Natasha, which is Gleb's drag character. And it was fabulous. And we got 2 death drops, and it was insane.
So fantastic. So yes, Shangela finally gave us the death drop that she's been talking about all the time. And then we got to see Gleb death drop. And how fun was that? Oh my gosh.
It was phenomenal.
It was just absolutely incredible. And you know, I know that especially after her first number, you know, Shangela talked about the tragedy that happened this past week, and the support that everyone needs, and
absolutely,
especially this community. And so this was such a cool way for her to honor her community, the entire drag community. There were several community members there, like you said, a couple of them even got to join in on the final number, which was incredible to see. So
well, and
what a way to end.
Been so special is like they talked about Shangela like opening the door, you know, for
Truly.
other drag queens, and I think it's the perfect thing, and everyone belongs on that dance floor. So I hope to see more drag queens in the future on the show, and it would be a fantastic place. And I love Shangela. Hallelujah.
It was absolutely crazy.
The only other thing I have to talk about,
the crispy chicken.
Yes.
I know that's where you were going.
Sasha played one of them, and I think the other one was Brandon. And
I think
so they had like even a part in the song that Shangela recorded and like brought out chicken again to Len. And then we had dancers in chicken suits. It was fantastic. And they were bedazzled. And then Sasha just kept wearing the chicken suit for the rest of the show. And he just had the biggest smile on his face that entire time. And it was fabulous.
It was fun. And what was even funnier was at the very end, we get a little bit even further of a glimpse as to why they were last to go. Because I guess Gleb was in makeup for 47 minutes.
Yeah. So, well, and I think the dance that the tour did, like they did a preview of like the tour, one of those dances, and I think that was pre-recorded because Gleb was in it and Gleb had to be in costume.
Yeah, so it must have been. Speaking of tour, before we do spoiler alert and talk about who won last night, do you want to talk about the surprise announcement for tour?
So they talked about who's coming on tour. So I am so excited. So Gabby is hosting it with Emma. So the 2 of them will host it. And then from there, they have Daniel is coming on tour. Vinny is coming on tour for certain places. Also, Charlie and Heidi as well. So the one that I'm going to just will have Gabby at Turning Stone. So I'm very excited for that. So get to see them. I have to say I'm very excited to see Sasha and Alexis. Just knowing them from previous seasons and getting to know them. So like I wish Daniela was coming on as well, because Alexis and Daniela were on Derek's tour, so I've actually gotten to know them.
Mm-hmm.
So Alexis, like, I DM'd and like on one of her lives, she was like, "Make sure girls coming."
That's so funny. Yeah, so it'll be a fun time. And then we just want to do a quick spoiler alert in case you have not watched. Turn this off right now because we are going to talk about
Who won?
our leaderboard and who got what place. So, all right, here we go. So our first eliminated
What?
was Shangela and Gleb,
Which
or
I have to
Shangela
say,
and
I
Natasha.
was really kind of surprised, just
I was
because
too.
they had the best freestyle. Now, I think it's interesting because when things all started, when we had the 2 night elimination, like, you
Mhm.
had a whole day to vote. So whoever had the best freestyle won, but that's
Almost always.
not been the case the past
Hmm.
couple years once they got rid of the second elimination. So, and I
Hmm.
didn't know how it would work now being on Disney Plus. So with that, it was not necessarily the case, but I have to say though, Shangela left her mark.
Yes, 100%. So yeah, so they were eliminated first. Wayne and Whitney were eliminated
Oh, I was so sad.
next. I know I was so sad. But it was an incredible competition. It was so hard and it was truly
Yeah.
anybody's game.
And like,
So
after he was eliminated, we talked about like, yeah, Gabby and Charlie have been the top two pretty much
they were top two
consistently.
most of the season.
Yeah.
So is it surprising? Not really.
No.
Um, so yeah, so okay, so then we had Gabby and Val and Charlie and Mark, and our crowned champions were Charlie and Mark. And how cool that was. Although I did think it was hilarious. Did you see Jenna's Instagram today?
I
Her
saw that she
stories?
posted, but I have not watched them yet.
Okay, so she posted a story the last 3 years, so 2020, 2021, and 2022. She was in the top two both of those first 2 years, and then Val being in the top two this year. They were always placed on the same side of the stage, and they all lost. And so
Oh
she was like, good note for the finale. If you're placed on this side of the stage, run.
no. That's funny.
Because she lost out the last 2 seasons with her partners to various winners. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was hilarious. She's
That's
like totally kidding, but just
no, yeah.
very funny.
It's those
So
little
yes,
things where like you see patterns every year that people pick up on, and it's like, are those done on purpose or are they not? Like, it's just a coincidence. We don't
it
know.
was so funny.
The one thing
Yeah, she's
I really wish producers would let us know is how many votes. And
yeah,
like, that's the one thing I really wish.
you can see a breakdown of.
Yeah, we could get details. Like, I'm a mathematical person, so like that just
Hmm.
interests me. So like, it will never happen, but I just want to know.
Yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from. But yeah, so Charlie and Mark were our crowned champions, which we discussed this and I did look it up. Derek still holds the number of
Yeah,
wins with
6
6 wins. However, this now puts Mark right behind him as the
at number
next
2.
most wins, with 3 mirror ball
Right.
trophies.
But he's the
So,
number 2 pro.
yeah,
And I
so he
texted you
now
that.
has
I was
3.
like, I think he's that. Like, you're like, hold on, let me
Yes. And
look.
I sent you the link to,
Yeah.
yeah, to the breakdown there. So a lot of our pros have 2 or 1. But now this brought Mark into a brand new class of having 3 wins.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's, I mean, it's got to feel cool for him too.
Very cool, especially being gone and then like coming back to such a great welcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
definitely.
The other thing too is it was so great to seeing the other pro, or not pros, the other contestants back.
Yes.
So like, I have to say, like, they did like grouping, so like they had like the first 4 who were eliminated and then the next 4 and so on, but they let Selma and Sasha have a number, and it was beautiful.
Well, it was the number of the week she was
Mm-hmm.
eliminated. It was the dance she never had a chance to do.
Right.
And so now that she had the opportunity to heal and get a little bit better, they allowed her to do her contemporary routine to Jordan Sparks' No Air, or at least a version of it with
Mhm.
just Jordan.
And
And
Jordan sang
Jordan was
it.
able to sing it live because she obviously wasn't competing. So, you know, what a cool moment that was, and what a beautiful routine. It certainly would have set Selma up for that week to be at the
Oh,
top of the leaderboard because wow.
absolutely. I have to say, if Selma continued, I would have really liked to see how far she truly would have gotten,
Yeah.
because I think just the backstory and the power, like I think she could have made it further. Um, so I she was fantastic as a contestant, but it was even more just it was so heartwarming to see her come back and have that moment too.
Yeah, and it definitely would have made it for an interesting end to the season because man, these top four were wildly good, but so was Selma. So
Mm-hmm.
where it would have been so interesting to see. But I'm glad that she had time to heal. I'm
Yeah.
glad that we did get a chance to see her contemporary because it was truly magical. So if you have a chance to check that out as well,
Mm-hmm.
definitely worth the watch.
Yes.
So, all right, well, that wraps up season 31.
I know, guys.
Uh,
Just
Everything is replay on Disney Plus. So if you have Disney Plus, you can go back and watch all of the episodes and all of the dances. Yeah, get to relive all these cool moments.
yes. I hope they keep the seasons up now, because like I like to have a
Yeah.
chance to go back. Like I wish they released some of the seasons on DVD.
Yeah, they
I would
might release
go
some
back.
of them.
Yeah. Otherwise, like the only place we can get them right now is pretty much YouTube.
Right, right.
But
But you never know. Disney Plus is an ever-growing platform. They might put, best dances or
right.
previous seasons and stuff. So
And
I
they
don't know. We'll
kind
have
of
to see
did
what they
that
do.
with the best dances, memorable
Hmm.
dances that they did to like start the season, which was kind of nice.
Yes. Yep.
Um, but guys, we have to say thank you. Thank you for tuning
Yeah.
in each week with us. We had a blast doing this, and hopefully, maybe we'll continue it next season as well.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you all so much for joining us.
Yeah. So, and also thank you for putting up with our crazy pets that would make
Uh-huh.
appearances every
I
week.
love to make appearances. Yep. Testing. Yep.
Jitterbug's like, I love the spotlight right now.
Jitterbug's like, this is the best.
Hi,
Don't ever get up, Mom. All right, everyone. Well, happy Thanksgiving week.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Stay well,
We
and
hope
we'll
that
see you
you
next
enjoy the
season.
holidays,
Definitely.
enjoy your family.
Definitely. All
Bye,
right. Bye,
guys.
everyone.